I don't have a clue why it's called a guibo. If anybody knows why is that called a guibo? Sure, because. Hi-ho, Keegan the Vlog here. Welcome back to BMW Wrench Time and the unexpected manual swap project. This is supposed to be a future Rad Savers car. However, the transmission failed. So it just so happens that our garage mate, Jarome, is a hoarder of BMW parts and has recently disassembled a 528E, which is an M20 engine car just like this. And it just so happens that the gearbox fits a 325i and it's a manual. So what we're after today though, the one bolt that I broke getting this thing apart is this on this exhaust stud. And we've tried all of this, the Jim Vine special sauce, the 50/50 automatic transmission fluid, and
sweet berry wine,
and acetone. We've tried heat. We've tried lots of things, and it's not coming off. So what I'm gonna try now is welding a nut to it, and we'll see if we can get it off that way, get it out that way. Otherwise, Jarome has another manifold, but I think if we get this manifold off, I'll be able to cut that off, drill it out, and fix the threads. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. There may be a bit of a flashback here to show you the disaster that was the DeLorean clutch job. Anyway, let's get into it. I think it might be turning. A little bit of early success here. We got that stud out. Here's the one we're after. I believe, yep, this is the reverse light. This is the reverse light harness. Check. This is the old transmission, old style transmission, so it has the sensors on the transmission housing. We got to take those off. The starter has different bolts on it, so that is expected. Everything else looks pretty good. I think, how is this? Is it just setting on there? Yeah, it is just setting there. Okay, cool. So nice guibo. I don't even think we need to remove the exhaust here. I think we can we just zip all these bolts out and get on with it. Starter bolts, check. Ooh. And boom. to the clutch. Not bad, David. Not too bad at all. Okay, we have got what we came here for. Mainly, transmission. This is not common to the 3 Series, so this has to go and get replaced with the 3 Series version of that. We're gonna take the actual pedals off of this assembly and put this together on our pedal assembly. Put these pedals on our pedal assembly. We're gonna have this resurfaced. We've got a new clutch and pressure plate. Obviously, we also have a new one of these and a new fitting there. And drive shaft is something we're still gonna have to get. So, okay, I'm gonna clean up my mess and we'll get this back over to the shop. Okay, people, it is time to begin the reassembly phase of this manual transmission swap. So we've got the transmission. We've got a ton of parts on the way. A ton of parts are already here. I'm gonna show you what I'm getting into. I'm gonna start with what I think is gonna be the hardest part. The reason I say that is this is an airbag car. And of all the videos and instructions that I've watched on doing this job, what people typically do is rip the pedal box out and replace it straight away with one from a manual car. The pedal box is very difficult to get out of an airbag car. Let me see if I can get a light here. You see those, how far this goes back up this way along the column. And it looks like it's even attached to this part of the steering column. More trouble than it's worth. So what I'm doing is actually taking the pedals off of the E28, which the pedal box for the E28 will not work on this car anyway, but the pedals themselves are the same part number for the E28 and the E30. So removing those pedals, I'm porting them over to this assembly here, and I'm just checking here. I'm not seeing the tab where the return is supposed to mount to for the clutch pedal. That could be a problem. That definitely could be a problem. We might have to fabricate something. Okay, the brake pedal is hung and sprung. Next thing I'm going to do is attach the master cylinder right there, right there. You'll see that hole there. Right there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is feed the clutch hydraulic fluid supply line that goes from the reservoir to the master cylinder through this grommet, at least fed into the cabin. And then we have to install, probably should have done this before I put the freaking master cylinder into, thought I had it, I guess I don't. There's a little nubulate that has to go onto the master cylinder in order to accept that hose. Might be able to take it off of the one that came off Jarome's car, but I thought I had a new one of those. Okay, great friends of the podcast. The port where this hose here needs to connect to is on top of the master cylinder. I can't reach the hole to push the grommet in, and I can't I can't put this on without without some major contortion. So I'm gonna take that master cylinder back off. Pro tip, do the supply line attachment to the master cylinder before you attach the master cylinder to the pedal assembly. Pro tip. And you can see with the master cylinder out of the way, you can put that grommet in pretty easily. All right, here's the old master cylinder, the one that came off of the E28. Just to give you an idea of how short that actual supply line is. It's gonna be a little bit different because the reservoir is probably in a little bit different place. This is the piece that we're after right here. And you know what? This looks pretty new. Yeah, there you go. That's what I need, this little guy right here. Much better. Master cylinder is back in. The fill line is attached. The grommets are seated. This part's done. Now we have to figure out this whole clutch pedal system. So this is what I'm talking about here. I don't see this part where that's supposed to rest on. Shoot. I had to clip the zip tie holding up that wiring harness so I could get the through bolt to slide way over that way. I'm gonna set the pedal, the clutch pedal in there and see if I can push that guy through there. Now I still don't see, we're gonna find out here, but I think we're gonna have a problem with that return, or that clutch return spring mechanism. So I don't see a place for it to push on. Come out. All right, if you can see this thing right. This spring contraption right here needs to come out. Come on out of there. Gotcha. Dirtbag. On the on most of the pedal assemblies, there is a rest for this thing actually on the pedal bracket to sit on, and that's a bit of an adjustment that you can do with this thing, and it acts as a return as well. So the newer cars, the newest E30s, just don't have the bracket provision for that. So the forums say take it off. Done. Okay, folks. That's going to do it for this episode. We got the inside of the car really ready to go. A little bit of wiring to do, but that's going to be in a future episode. It'll probably be the very last thing we do, actually. So the pedal assembly is together. Clutch pedal, we fit. 3 pedals looks so much better. I can start to imagine driving it as a stick shift, and that's pretty cool. Just to give you a little spoiler about what's coming up next. Here's the transmission that's going in it that we got, and some of you may have already noticed that this case does not have the provision for the E30 shifter. This is a really early version of this transmission. In fact, the earliest version of this transmission. We found out there are some subtle differences. However, it was used in an E30. It just was used in the early M3 version of the E30, which means they made a bracket that goes on, that bolts onto the case that accepts the E30 shifter. So thankfully they're still available. We just have to wait for it to show up. So we're getting into the real weeds of this project right now, where this thing is we're starting to have to, like, we find out something that we didn't know. We have to order something. We have to wait a week for it to show up. So we're kind of in the slog right here. But as soon as we get everything, this is going to go together really fast, because I mean, we're down to the point where we're ready to put the transmission in. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here. TR3 BMW something Wrench Time.